Man, what is up, everybody? We are back. Vacation is over. It's back to reality. So we got a show tonight. Should be every Tuesday night from here on out. But tonight we're joined by Justin Dutcher. This big old bag out there at Lake Berryessa 2 weekends ago.
Yeah, two
Two
weekends
weekends
ago. Yep.
ago.
Yep.
So um, yeah, dude, it was 97. Did you hit
98,
98? 98.
98 and a half.
98 and a half.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I would say the lack of fishing pressure lately has definitely turned that lake on.
I would say so. Yeah, it was kind of weird to be out there, and basically I was all by myself all day.
Okay.
I always saw a couple other kayaks, and literally I think I saw one bass boat, and never even got close to me.
It was open launch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went out of Puda Creek.
Okay. And you weren't
Really?
and you weren't have anybody near you?
That's
No,
crazy.
I launched out of Puda, and I went down past the creek, past that first island, and I just found a little area that looked. I got there at first cast time. I was like, "Oh, this is like a pretty good area," and just started casting. And I never left that area all day.
Did you get a chance to pre-fish at all or no?
No, I did not. I take that back. Yes, I did. I went, and I think the weekend before I went to Pleasure Cove, and it was not very good. So I just eliminated that place.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, I was like,
When
well,
you know,
guess
you
so.
know.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gone back there and caught a limit, but I just didn't feel like it just wasn't good enough to go back to. I was just there. I caught a few fish, a couple all right ones, but I just didn't feel good about it.
Nice. So you show up, so you just randomly threw a dart at the map, said I'm gonna hit here. You show
Yeah,
up.
well, my plan was I was going to go all the way to the end down there, that day use area or whatever that is, all the way down at the end of the
Oh,
lake.
yeah, way down there.
Yeah, I was going to go down there and look for bedfish was my original plan. And then my kayak's so slow, I only made it about halfway. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna start fishing here and work my way that way.
Yeah,
And I
because you've got
started
a
catching fish and
PA
never left.
yeah, PA 14 now, right?
Yeah,
Bow
yeah,
mount?
I got a PA-14 with a bow mount,
Okay.
and even pedaling, I can. If I really pedal hard, I can get to almost 4 miles an hour. And that's
What motor are you running?
it's a Minn Kota.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty slow.
Yeah, six. The motor guys, you get like four and some change out of it, pedaling with it. I remember doing with mine. If I had the one motor on.
Yeah.
So you get down there. What'd you find? What'd you find down there? Are they on beds? Were they
No, I
pre-spawn?
was I was looking around for. I was just casting around until the sun got up where I could see good, and then I saw a few empty beds, and I was like, "Oh, I'm late." And so I found some brush and a tree, and I started flipping a Cinco to it, and I caught four real quick, and then I tied on a red crankbait and caught my fifth. All right
Wait, you
there,
throw crankbaits?
not very often.
you're not you're not just throwing a wacky rig, huh?
That
No,
sounds like
no,
me.
I threw the crankbait around, and like in the third cast, I caught a 16-inch smallmouth, and I was like, all right. And I worked around it for a little while longer, didn't get more bites. So there was a cove across from where I was at. So I ran up in that cove, and on the third cast in that cove, I casted my crankbait into a tree and broke it off and went back to the wacky rig.
So that's why you don't throw crankbaits very often.
Yeah.
Too
Well,
expensive.
Hey, at least he didn't say he caught his crankbait in the front trolling motor.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
didn't
done
do.
that. I got my line stuck in the front trolling motor of mine. West Coast Championship that happened to me, and it would run good, and then it would all of a sudden run like super hard left, and like the tuning on it was really weird, and they got stuck in my prop, and it was on day 2 and it was super windy, and I had nowhere to really hide, so I couldn't use the motor, so I had to pull the motor up and try to like pedal around in the wind to get turned around quick enough, and like holding on to a dock with one hand, trying to untangle it in the other. It was quite interesting.
Yeah,
Us big boys don't belong on the bow of our kayaks.
No, we don't. Yeah, 'cause that one I have to bring it up by hand, and it makes me nervous every time crawling out there in the front of that thing to pull that thing up. I'm like, I'm gonna end up in the water one of these days.
You know,
You
there's a nice
you don't
little
have it rigged up with a pull cord or anything yet?
No, and I have to reach up there and push the button down to release it to bring it up anyway.
So if you take your seat cord that picks your seat riser up and down, untie that, get yourself some of that
Paracord.
steering cable stuff or something that'll run through those small tubes.
Yeah.
Run it down to the front of your boat and punch a hole right underneath the foot pedal.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting, it was their the Hobie rudder kit or steering kit. It comes with another little piece of that tubing that's got the seal on it. And you just drill a hole for that, push that in there, ran the tube through there, and put I have a carabiner on the rope side, and then on the bottom of the pedal it has like a little piece that's stuck down. So I took a little tiny shackle, drilled a hole, and put that in there. So I just grabbed my seat rope, and that pulls the foot pedal down.
Oh, yeah, I see.
And then you just tie. I ended up getting another one of those the Garmin 0 degree mounts, the lifestyle mount, and put that around the shaft right under the head of it, and put I can't remember if I did a bolt or I got an eye bolt, same pitch, thread pitch, and just screwed that in there, have a rope tied to it, so everything sit from the seat.
Maybe check one ejective, because one ejective I think has a kit now.
Okay, yeah. I've been threatening on MacGyvering something together, but we'll figure it out.
We'll talk. I'll take a picture of mine. I'll show you, dude. It's super simple.
Take the side plate off where the mechanism to release it. Take that side plate off, and then tie a paracord to that. And then when you pull on it, it pulls it down. Put the side plate back on. I just run the paracord to the front of the kayak with the little PVC pipe handle, and I pull on that. And I get it and I put it onto the head and wiggle it until the head slides down. Works.
There's different ways. I usually use my net to deploy it. Just hold on to the rope, push it over the net.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, but having something right there at the seat, you just grab and put it in. And, I've had a.
Makes you real nervous when I have to crawl out there and push down on that button and try to pull it up.
Yep. I did that. I took my daughter out last year, and she was in a different kayak than me, and she was tied off to me. We were just cruising around with the trolling motor. She caught a 5-pounder out of Pardee, and she doesn't quite understand rod tip over here to bring the fish over this way.
Yeah.
And she's had the rod tip pointed straight in the middle of our kayaks. It goes under my kayak. I'm thinking, oh crap, my fins. So I kick my fins up, and it starts running towards the front. I was like, oh no, trolling motor. I was like, told Addie, I was like, Addie, stop reeling. I grabbed my motor, pulled it up, and the line was stuck over the head of the motor. I was like, oh no. I already seen the fish jump a couple times. I'm like, oh, please tell me it's still on there. I'm crawling up there, dude, like trying not to fall in. Get it untangled, and the line starts slowly swimming off again. I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see if I can rest this phone on this dugout over here.
Everything's so much more difficult inside of a kayak.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not easy.
Remember, I got snagged one time, and I broke it free, and the snag flew over my head. I ducked, and it wrapped around all my rods behind me, and it took me like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
to get all that
I've had that happen many times.
Yep.
Yeah. I take one rod at a time out and then unhook it and go to the next and so on and so on. I'm like, jeez.
Oh man, we went on a squirreling adventure there. So you break the crankbait off. And, and you go back to Wacky Rig Senko and the brush piles.
Yeah, I was up in this little cove, and I stood up and I was looking around, and I saw a million little spots hanging out, but you know, the water was so clean that they could see me way before I saw them. And I was going, man, I'm never going to catch a fish if I don't sit back down and just start blind casting something as far as I can and try to find a fish that can't see me. So I sat down and I cast a jig around a little bit and nothing. And so I grabbed the wacky rig back up and just threw it as far as it could up towards the bank. And as soon as it hit the water, it took off. And I was like, oh, and I set the hook. I was like, oh man, that's a good one. And then all I could see was it just stuck its mouth out of the water, started shaking its head. And I was like, man, that's a 10-pounder. I was like, that's a 10-pounder. And it goes down and it starts fighting, and I'm loosening the drag, and I had 10-pound braid tied to 6-pound fluorocarbon. And I was thinking this fish was like 10 pounds. I'm fighting it and fighting it and fighting it. Finally got it in the net. Seen it was post spawn and everything else. It was skinny, but had a big old head on it. It was 22 and a half, so got me big fish. That was nice. It still weighed. It was 734 is what it was. I weighed that one.
Oh, nice.
You caught a DD yet?
No. My biggest fish that I've actually weighed was like 8.5.
Nice. You
Yeah,
get it at Clear Lake?
Still respectful for sure.
You did.
Yeah. I caught it. I caught it off that metal wall down there by Rattlesnake on a drop shot.
Of course.
Yeah. And then I caught that fish in that ABA tournament on the Delta. I won big fish in that, and I know it weighed more than that one, but I didn't have a scale. So
I remember that. I think I remember that. That was a big fish.
that was a big fish.
Those are all pre-spawners. Remember, you hooked into one there. If it was a big one, they were big.
Yeah, it was a big fish. That one was.
So you stayed pretty much in the same area, just blind casting the wacky rig around?
Yeah, I did that for a while. And then I came out of the cove, and there was an area had there was one tree, and then about 100 yards away there was a group of 3 trees. I was like, well, I'm gonna go flip those trees and see what happens. So I go over to the first tree and flip around it, nothing. And I sat down to go over to the next group of trees. As soon as I sat down, I just happened to look down at my screen, and I seen a bunch of movement on the bottom. A bunch of big blobs moving around on the bottom. I was like, I wonder if there's a catfish or carp or what. I was like, I'm just going to throw a jig over there and see what happens. Threw my jig out there, caught a 19-incher, and I was like, well, those must be bass. So I threw about 2 casts later, I caught a 21-incher, and then a couple casts later, I caught another 19-incher.
Nice.
Yeah, I caught all those in like 10 minutes. I caught all those fish.
Nice.
Yeah. I was right place at the right time.
Yeah. 22 and a half and all those are nice fish.
Yeah, that's when I started. That's when I started getting excited. I was like, man, I might actually have a chance. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go around to the next cove. And I went around and I got into that cove and I saw the only 2 kayakers I saw were going back towards those trees. I was like, no, I gotta get back to those trees. So I went back to the trees and I hooked another one because I was up to what at that point? I was up to 97 3/4 at that point. And then I hooked another one in the same spot on the same jig, and it jumped and threw the hook, and it might have put me over 100. I can't say for sure, but it was a good fish. It was probably an 18-incher.
What was your smallest?
My smallest at that point was that 16-inch smallmouth, and then started running out of time, so I went back in that cove where I caught the 22-incher, and I ended up catching a 16.75 with about 45 minutes left up. Give me a 3/4 inch colt, would be a 98.5.
Nice. Yeah, I was watching that one. We were flying to Florida. I was like, oh, I wonder how the boys are doing. I was like, oh, look at Dutcher. I was like, man, he's sacking them up today. These boys are in for hurting.
Yeah, I started getting so nervous, like the last hour and a half or 2 hours. I started getting a stomach ache. I started like kind of getting the shakes, and I was like, I might actually do that. And then I went, no. I said, no. I think sandbaggers are going to get me. They always do. Every time I think I'm going to be in the top 5 or something, I end up in 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how the sandbaggers are. It was either that or Joey Silva was lurking around there, not too far off of me. He's going to live scope up a couple 24 inches real quick, and I'll be done. And I just kept looking at that scoreboard, and I was calling Mike, I was calling Greg, I was calling my wife, I was calling anybody that would talk to me, because I had to try to think about something else besides what was happening, because I was like I said, I hadn't won one before, and I was getting really, really nervous.
Oh yeah, dude, that's awesome. First one.
Congratulations on your win.
It's always special, awesome, man.
Yeah. Something I'll never forget, that's for sure.
Hey, but at least you got a trophy for your first win. So that's awesome. Somebody's name I still won't mention, but I'm still waiting on my first place trophy.
I'm still waiting on a trophy too. It's supposed to be caught in COVID off the ship somewhere.
Just saying, they were making some badass trophies the first year they did it, and I win one. I don't get nothing. Just saying.
That's the way it works.
Tim, where's my trophy? just throwing it out there. But yeah, dude, that's awesome. To win the first one, it's a good feeling, man. To realize, like, damn, I did it finally.
And let's not forget, he turned around and went back out to Salt Springs and damn near did it out there too.
Yeah. What was your highest finish prior to the win?
I finished second on the Delta to Alden. Right. It was Alden won. I finished second. Nobody finished third that day. That was a cool day.
Yeah.
But so Alden though that day sandbagged, and that was when they turned the score off. Well, when the score went off, I was in the lead, and I upgraded in the last hour like 5 inches, and I was like, dude, I won this one. I was stoked. And then I got back to the ramp, and Alden goes, well, I know Obi's got a good bag. And I was like, oh, no. Obi's the king of the Delta. So I go over to O, and I go, hey, O, what do you got? He told me what he had. I was like, oh, I got you beat by half an inch. I was like, I must have won this thing. And Alden never said a word, never smiled, never nothing. And he never even acted like he caught a fish. And I was just like, oh man, I think I won. And then they announced nobody was in third, and I was like, well, okay, there's still a half inch in there. And then they announced I was second, and I was like, oh, there you go, okay. And then when they announced that Alden won, I wanted to choke him.
What are friends for, right?
Yeah, he played that off so good, it was crazy.
That's funny.
That's totally Alden, though, for sure, right there.
Oh yeah, I mean, you would have never even known that he caught a single fish all day.
Yeah,
I still remember my first time I ever ran into Alden on the water, dude. It was the funniest damn thing ever. We were fishing the Bass Nation Shasta event. And I come out. I didn't have the motor on the kayak at the time. I'm pedaling my ass off up the Sac River, and it's windy as hell. I'm trying to get over to this little cove to try to get out of the wind. I see this guy coming by with his bow mount hauling ass going like the same point. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, really, dude? I'll get pedal all the way over here for nothing. And he sees me pedaling a little faster, and he's like, dude, you can have it, man. I'm just trying to hit the bank. I gotta pee.
Yeah.
Oh, I was cracking up. We laughed about that. I was like, man, you were pedaling your ass off to get there first. I was like, hell yeah, it was. Oh, that's funny. But so you go. So, did you rub this one in with the boys a little bit? Now you finally beat them.
Well, I didn't beat them because none of them showed up. I was the only guy.
Oh, you were.
Yep. Everybody else skipped.
That's right. So they all fished. They all did Salt Springs last weekend, huh?
No, it was just me and Greg and Santa. We were the only three that did Salt Springs. Another reason Greg and Santa went was because they FOMO'd from me winning the week before.
That's funny.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I know Mike was on vacation. He was with the family, and Greg had a trip planned, and then that fell through, and Alden's got the baby, and just life was in the way for everybody. And I was like, well, I don't have anything to do. I'm going to go. So I ended up winning.
That was funny. I was sitting there watching the scoreboard this weekend. I seen you up in the lead. I was like, hell, man, Dutcher just make this easy on us. We can knock out 200 views with one guess. I was like, hell yeah. And then because we were in Florida, and Saturday we were traveling. And then I got home, I pulled up the leaderboard. I'm like, God dang, where the hell did Joey come from? His sandbag, and I asked him to post something. It seemed like till later.
Yeah.
I'm like 105 inches. I was like, are you kidding me? And I was doing a bunch of yard work on Sunday. And I'm looking at him like, oh shit, Dutcher's gonna do it. And I'm like, hell yeah. And then next thing you know, I'm like, oh yeah, I wonder who won. I'm like, freaking Joey. Joey, if you're listening, come on the show next week, bud. Again.
Yeah. I was like, I kept getting I would get in the lead, and then I'd lose the lead, and I get back in the lead, and then I thought about it, and I went, well, wait a minute. Greg hasn't posted anything yet. He's a sandbagger.
Yeah.
Pua hasn't posted anything yet. He's a sandbagger. And I said, and I know Joey's got more than what he's showing, because he only posted 4 fish, and then he quit posting.
Oh, okay.
So he played a little game. And I just, I was sitting there, and I was thinking, well, I might be able to finish top 3. But I ended up finishing 5th. I beat Greg. That's all that matters.
Hell yeah!
There you go.
So how were you? What was your bait of choice out of Salt Springs?
Oh, wacky rig.
does pretty well out there. It does pretty well out there.
Yeah.
So wait! You didn't throw an underspin at all?
I did a little bit, but there was so much moss on the bottom that when you let it hit the bottom, they tried to reel it back and hit a rock and just get covered in moss. So it was that was what ruined my jig. I went there planning on throwing a jig the whole time. I threw a jig about 5 times and went, this is not going to work. After the first hop, it was just so gunked up you couldn't throw it. So I was like, well, I know I can throw a wacky rig and at least wait till it hits the bottom. So
Pua says he promised he didn't sandbag.
Oh, so he blanked all day on Sunday until the last 5 minutes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
He pulled a Greg and had the last minute heroics and had all those fish in 5 minutes.
Oh, well. Good for him.
Yeah, I wish we could all do that.
We should all sandbag. Just submit one fish, just to make sure that we got the right code and everything, and then at the very end, everybody submit all their fish.
Bill would love that.
I've done that like in the instance where it's like, you're on the school, you just need to take the photo real quick and then get back to them again. Like I'll submit one just for that same reason, right? Make sure my identifier is good. And I'm just going to keep fishing until they stop biting before I start submitting stuff. But I try not to sandbag.
Yeah, I did that on Sunday because I knew because Saturday I caught all my fish real early and then I didn't really catch anything for 5 hours. So Sunday I caught a fish right off the bat and I took the picture and then caught another fish, took the picture, caught another fish, took the picture, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep fishing until the bite dies. And then when the bite was dead for a little while, I submitted the first 3 that I had. It makes me too nervous not to do it because you drop your phone in the water or your battery dies or who knows what could happen.
Or you accidentally delete all files.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many ways it could go bad. It's just like, it's not worth it to me. I have too much anxiety. I would be stressed out so bad. It'd be crazy.
So,
go
ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, for me, it's kind of the same ordeal. But then, if I get too many photos and I don't remember which one's what, and then I got to sit there and try to figure them out.
That's what I
upload it and get it done with.
I always take a picture of my bow of my kayak after I'm done taking the photo for that.
No, I do too. Yeah. But if I have 10 fish caught, I don't want to be sitting there trying to. Oh, is that one 14? Oh, nope, that one 15. No, I just rather submit them.
Those tournaments we did. in those lakes that don't have service. And
Yeah.
you're all rushing to like the bar and the marina afterwards, and you're like, dude, I caught 15 fish that day. I'm like, I don't remember which you kind of remember in the order, and you're like blowing it up. No, not that one. And then you gotta try to find it on your photo
Lake
album.
McClure, Lake McClure.
Yeah,
Yes.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd have a heart attack.
What you do instead of taking a picture of your trolling motor, you put your finger on the board on how many inches it is of that fish, and then you take a picture of that, so you know that the fish prior to that is going to be that long.
Well, aren't you a smart fella?
Yeah, look at that.
You get that picture and you put it in your favorites, and you only have one picture in your favorites, and then say you catch 15 fish, right? You could scan every one of those 15 fish and figure out what length of each one is, or just submit them, every one of them, but you also have to put that picture of the board in your favorites as well. So say you catch a 20-inch fish, the next picture is you with your finger on the 20-inch mark and click it. And all you need is just that 20, basically. And then you go to the next fish and say that's a 19. You put your finger on the 19. If it's 19 and a quarter, then you get your finger on 19 and a quarter. So
You're a fart smeller, John.
Yeah,
it actually is, for me, talk about anxiety and stress. So at first, I never put them in my favorites. So I would take like 5 pictures of every fish. I'd have to go through and check the time stamp between fish.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to pull the fish up and look and see how long it is. Then I would submit it. I'd put it in the live well. And I would do every one in the live well, and it would give me, all of them. And then I just put the biggest one in first and so on. But yeah, I rather what I found is if I can, if you have service, you take a picture of your first fish just to make sure, and it gets approved, accepted. Then the rest of them I put in the live well, and then I'll go from the live well, I'll put them into the leaderboard whenever I move the kayak from one to the next. So I'm not spending time waiting, reaching my phone up in the air or waiting for it to download or whatever. I do it while I'm moving.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
managing time.
What do you think about? Did you fish Salt Springs last year, Dutcher?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I did fairly decent there in that one too, but it was just such a slugfest that.
At least the weather was much nicer from last year.
The weather was way better.
Is the water still up like it was last year? Is it down?
Yeah, it's maybe, I'd say it's 2 feet lower than last year is all.
Okay, so that one stretch where it was like a foot of water through the middle where that island was, that was a lot of water now?
Yeah, there's some rocks sticking up, right? Like out in the middle, there's some rocks sticking up, and then, it's only like a foot deep all around it. I got stuck on it.
Dude, I got stuck on there on that Saturday last year, and my bow mount hit it, and I couldn't pedal backwards because I couldn't use my fins, and I don't have reverse on my rear motor, so I couldn't trim that up and try to reverse, that thing out. And the wind was pushing me from the back, and it kept on rolling me, and I'm trying to get the paddle so I could push out and do something, get my bow mount from being stuck. I thought I was going to flip my kayak in a foot of water that day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, luckily there was no wind or anything. I was able to use my net and finally push myself off the junk, but it was just like,
I was like, man, what a day to go swimming. It was super cold.
Oh yeah, I definitely wouldn't have wanted. I could have gotten the water no problem this weekend, but
we were already soaked last year anyway, so I don't think it would have felt it been any different. I was just thinking, dude, what a way to flip your kayak in a foot of water, you dummy.
Yeah. The craziest thing I saw last year is when we were at Toluca in that monster storm, and it was freezing. Oh, it was miserable. That day it was miserable. And then Santa went up on the bank and stepped over his boot and filled his boot up with water.
Oh,
yeah.
So he took his boot off to dump it out, but he couldn't get his boot back on. So he fished with no shoe on. I don't know how.
oh man.
I would have quit. I was like, nope, I'm going to the cabin. I'm done.
There was no heater.
Yeah, with the cabin with no heater. we were using my barbecue inside the cabin as a heater. That's a good idea. Propane and barbecue. But hey,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
we were warm.
Oh yeah.
They find people dead when that happens.
Yeah, we were all thinking the same thing, but there was enough drafts in that cabin to keep air moving through it.
So what you're
Me, I
saying
would've-
you lost a few brain cells last year.
Yeah. Well, anytime around those guys, I lose brain cells anyway. So
Good point. Good point, man. So how's everything else? Good? You?
oh yeah. Things
Where are you
going
fishing
good.
at next?
Probably I'll fish on Clear Lake this weekend, and then I'll do the team tournament next weekend.
Okay.
Okay. Nice. You'll see us flying around somewhere.
Yeah. There's boats out there
Yep.
like crazy right
Every day.
Yep.
Oh man, I worked like literally right across the street from the Oaks ramp. So I mean that place is just packed out to the highway every day, and even the Lucerne launch is packed out. Like I was on my way home today, and I was like, I can't believe how many people are at the Lucerne boat ramp.
Is
There's
it
never anybody
worse after the Juan Bass and those bags the boys put up?
I would say maybe a little bit, but even before the one bass, the word was out how good it was fishing.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are catching 10-pounders left and right, and I mean, it was nuts for a while.
Yeah. It's crazy. I have not yet to catch an 8 up there this year. And I've caught a couple of 7s and plenty of 6s. It's like, dude, I was looking for that 10 all winter, man. I never found it though.
Yeah, they found lots of them.
I know.
You pre-fish warrior will catch one. You watch.
Me? I'm not pre-fishing.
Yeah, you're gonna
this
catch
weekend.
it while you're pre-fishing. You watch.
I'm not pre-fishing this weekend. I'm fishing a tournament this weekend.
Oh, okay.
It's Derby weekend, man. Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah,
Well, maybe you'll catch it.
I want to
Hopefully.
get in on next year. I'm gonna try to get in as a co-angler on something, but I want to do something that's like the one bass or something that's not.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
Shared
you
weight?
you go out there. Yeah, you get out there with a boater. Don't give a shit. You know, you're just stuck in the back along for
Yeah.
the ride. You spend $400 to get
Well,
get nothing.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
where the shared weight with one bass is a great way to go.
Yeah.
But what sucks dude, is you get like what was it? Greg had that was with the guy that was leading out day 1, and then you depend upon who you get partnered with on day 2.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, they might not be on fish, and then you're screwed, and it just that sucks for those guys that have especially if they contributed for that bag,
Yeah.
So it's
think
man.
I think
But
if I do it, I'll just have to say I want to be guaranteed to be with John Pearl and
and Nathan
Nathan. John Pearl, Nathan, and
and Ish.
Gary Collins. I'll go with him.
Yeah. There you
Or
go.
Paul Bailey. I can do
Yeah.
all of them.
Bailey.
Yeah, I'll go with one of those guys.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it as a co next year. I really want to do that in Shasta. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, Shasta. But man, the weather up there is just could be just as bad on Clear Lake that time of year too.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
seen some
super
real bad
unpredictable.
days.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun. I'm not ready to go jump in that as a pro yet. Ain't no way in hell.
Yeah. The only problem is it was $400, and I'd have to take 3 days off work. It's like,
Yeah. That's the one thing that's killer for me is it's that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
yeah, you got to take 3 days off work and then pay $400, and it's just like you just never know what's going to happen. You get
Yeah.
paired up with 3 guys that don't know or whatever. You just be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there's a guy that lives up there right on the lake that can probably pre-fish plenty before that event and try to find some spots, tell those guys that don't know nothing. Just saying.
It's
Saying.
probably-
You know, I don't know if we have that opportunity or not.
Yeah, but I mean, it's clear like everybody knows the spots.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no secret.
Community holes.
Yeah, there's only so many of them.
Yeah.
There's no, nobody has a secret rock pile or anything. It's all been found.
And shared, for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was like the tournament we did up there. When was I don't remember when that one was. March. The first, third, and then our fifth place bag all came within 100 yards of each other.
Yeah.
It was stupid, dude. And it's like, but then thankfully the spot was only big enough for about 3 boats. So like you didn't get, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys trying to cram in there. So at least that was a good part.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets pretty crazy. You see those community holes sometimes. It's like I'll be at work, and if I'm working right along the lake somewhere, I'll be sitting there all day, and I started thinking when I was going, how many baits do these fish see a day? Just on a Wednesday, you see 15 boats pull up to Windy Point, and it's just like I can't even imagine how many baits those fish see in a week.
And they still bite.
Yeah, they still
They're
bite.
still catching 30-pound bags. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, I mean we work around Windy Point. I'll sit out there and I'll be looking in. It's like, oh, here comes another boat. Here comes another boat. Here comes another boat. I mean, it's all day long. And then they run straight across the lake over there to Shag Rock, and it's like, well, there's the 58th boat to hit Shag Rock today.
Yeah.
I will say this winter, I've never fished Shag Rock before. The first time I rolled up to it, threw up there, caught 7-pounder. I was like, hey, I guess there are good fish over here.
Yeah, that's why this is the most famous spot in all of California to fish.
Right? Why have I never fished it before? I don't know.
Yeah.
I never wanted to make the road in the kayak, I guess.
Yeah. It's not that bad out when you come out of Brado's to get there, but now that Brado's doesn't open early, I haven't been there in a while because you got to wait till 8 o'clock to even get in the gate.
Oh, is that when they're opening?
Yeah, I think it's 8. Yeah.
That changed because I pulled in there. Oh man, it was like 7 o'clock in the winter and launched. At one point, they were open.
Well, maybe it's 7. Maybe it's 7. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is they changed. They started making it to where you can't go in there, and it's just like, oh, all right, we'll go in there.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a long jump from state to go over that way.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't even try from the state park to get over that far.
Did you guys see Damien? You guys see Damien's boat ride from State Park over towards?
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there that morning. We all were, me and Greg and all of us. We pulled up there. I was like, I could hear it when I got out of my truck. It sounded like the ocean. I was like, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no. And then Santa went out and took that video of it from the little parking lot, and I was like, yeah, no. But,
And I got out, and so it was like, I'll say it's 10 sustained, like 26 gusts. And I made a run. I launched at State Park and made a run down towards the Redbud Arm. And it was windy as hell running down that way. So I tucked back over by Brados and was kind of fishing that way. And it was all calm, man. The second I got back around the narrows, dude, it was like 5-foot rollers. I was like, God.
yeah, you don't want to be on the wrong side of the narrows when the wind comes up.
I was. I think I was in the boat, not the kayak, but
yeah,
man, it was still, dude. It was a rough ride.
Yeah, the crazy thing about Clear Lake is you could be on the north end and it's pancake flat, and you get to Conote, and all of a sudden it looks like the ocean. It's like, what is going on?
It's wild. The personality.
Well, it's like it was that day it was like that day at the last tournament, No Limit. I mean, I packed up and I went south, and as soon as I got to south, it was like a whole different lake.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
we packed up and went down to the Oaks, and it was glass. And,
Yeah.
About 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it switched, and it turned into the bad part.
Because that's the crazy thing, though. It seems like typically the south end's got more wind than the north.
Yeah, it does, because the wind, the prevailing wind comes from Lakeport down the lake.
Yeah.
So it's generally rougher down in that.
Except for when it's that south wind, like you guys have for the native tournament, and it just destroys the north end.
That never happens.
Yeah.
Never happens.
Well, the BAM tournament, it was a south wind too, right, John?
What's that?
The BAM tournament this year was a south wind. That was pretty bad too at times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both those tournaments, they get screwed with the wind.
Yeah. Same situation where the north end was real bumpy and the south end was calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always,
one under the other is always bad.
Yeah.
It seems like you never have the whole lake good at one time.
yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, with how big the lake is, and it's literally got its own climate. The different sections of it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it does. I mean, just the climate between, the north end, and then when you get to Canocti, you get around the backside of Canocti there, and it's like a whole different world. You get up in that black forest and stuff. It's like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then 2 miles later, you're back out and feels like the desert.
Yeah. So you got your pre-fish this weekend. You got team tournament. Are you gonna do the native, the nationwide one that same day or no?
Yeah, I'll probably jump in that since I'm gonna be out there. Might as well.
Yeah.
Never know. You could run into a good one.
Well, I mean, you've got time to practice. Not like you gotta drive far. How far? Like, I mean, you're pretty much 30 minutes from any ramp on the Bill Lake there.
Oh, I'm to Rodman Slough or to Keeling Park in Nice. I'm less than 5 minutes.
Why don't you fish it more, Dutcher?
I don't know. I don't know why. I just I'm a half hour from the Oaks. It takes me a half hour to get to work. So I'm a half hour from the Oaks, and to Lakeport is 10 minutes. So to the county park is 15 minutes.
Yeah.
State parks 18 minutes. Just I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because I've lived here my entire life, and I'm just like, I spent so much time in that lake as a kid. I don't know why. It's weird. I mean, I've had some of the best fishing days I've ever had out there, but just something about it I just don't like. I don't know.
Yeah, you like the clean Highland Lake reservoirs?
Yeah, I like going up to Shasta or Maloney's or whatever. And I like fishing that stuff.
Berryessa.
Berryessa's nice, but it's just I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but
because you gotta convert to a bait caster during the summertime. Is that what it is?
Yeah, the bait caster scares me.
Yeah, man. So you got a live scope that scares you, so you throw crankbaits in the brush pile, and then you got bait casters that scare you, so you don't fish Clear Lake.
Yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping I was gonna get real good with the live scope because I love throwing a spinning rod.
Yeah. Dude, it just takes time, man. We'll get you dialed in.
I just need to go fishing more. I mean, if I'm not in a tournament, I don't fish very often anymore. When I first got into it, I was fishing 3 times a week. Maybe that's what. Maybe I just got burnt out from fishing on Clear Lake so much. But
it happens.
Yeah, when I first got into it, it was all the time. Every spare minute I had, I was going fishing and doing stuff. And then it's just like now it's like, oh, I'd rather go to breakfast with my wife, or I'd rather do this or do that. Just getting old and lazy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot to do with it. I mean, it does. Just like the last. I haven't fished in 4 weeks. I went on vacation, and then we started working on the front yard, and it's like I enjoy it. It's like to go back out and go fish. Now I'm putting behind getting the project done. So
yeah, that's it too.
I get it.
You get busy, and like I don't have any kids at home anymore to say, "Hey, mow the lawn." And I got one kid at home still, but it was a lot easier if I could be like, "Hey, you guys can't go anywhere because you're teenagers, so
Yeah,
just stay here and take care of the dogs, and take care of this, take care of that. I'll be back when I'm back." Now it's just my wife. And,
mine aren't quite to the age where I can say, "Here's a lawnmower, go mow the property."
yeah,
Not quite yet. I just did all that last Sunday. Spent like 4 hours out there mowing.
Like the next Yakka Bass tournament, the one on the Delta, I believe is on the weekend. I'm moving my daughter. She goes to college right now in Chico, and she's going to Arizona to finish college. So I got to move her that weekend. So I have to miss that tournament. But,
you get a drop?
I already used it. I didn't go to the first tournament of the year.
Oh.
Well, I wasn't planning on fishing in the Yakka Bass tournaments just because I committed to the Gambler and I'm going to do all the BAMs.
Okay.
So those were, and then I was just going to pick up a Yakka Bass here or there, like the Delta or something like that. Because for me, all these tournaments, everybody's like, "Oh man, it's such a far drive to Clear Lake. It took me 3.5 hours." Well, you guys got to realize I do that every tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 4 hours for me to get to Maloney's. It's, 4 hours to get to Salt Springs. It's every tournament for me is 3 to 4 hours, and I have to do it every time. And it cracks me up. I hear people go, "Oh man, it was such a far drive to get up here in the south." Like, I do it every time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're gonna love Almanor, man.
Yeah.
You want to throw some spinning rods? Almanor is a fun lake.
Yeah, I've never been there before, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, we went there. Was that a couple years ago? And it's a cool, man. There's a lot of big smallmouth up there.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard it's got a lot of good smallmouth in it. That'll be fun.
Yes.
Oh, it's all smallmouth.
Yeah, there's apparently some largemouth in there, but I don't know how many people catch them. It's
like catching a smallmouth at Clear Lake.
Yeah, I was saying,
unicorn to catch a largemouth.
I've never caught a smallmouth at Clear Lake, and I've caught 3,000 bass out of Clear Lake. I've never caught a smallmouth.
Yeah, and then so you got BAM's got the Delta, and then if you make TOC, have you fished Trinity yet?
Yeah, I went there one time last year just to go do it because I'd heard such good things about it.
Yeah.
So I went up there just on my own, just like I'm going. I went up there and spent the night and fished it, and that was awesome. That's a good lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got up there and I was like, well, I know where they have all this hype about this place.
Yeah. It sucks in the 4.5 hour drive. Uh-oh. We lost the Dutcher.
His wife set a limit on there.
Yeah. There you are.
There he is.
He's back. Oh, he lost his earbuds in. Anyway, guys, next week, Joey, seriously, if you're listening, we'll hit him up, see if we get Joey on next week.
Someone tried to call me and it froze, you know.
Hi, honey.
We'll try to get him on for next week. And we'll bring Dutcher back on. He backed out. Yeah, guys, so we got
I got some housekeeping stuff real quick.
Yeah.
We're back.
I think I'm back.
You're back.
My daughter tried to call me.
And it knocked you out.
It knocked me out of my deal here. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get back into.
We thought your wife set a time limit on your podcast.
No, not yet.
All you do is fish and talk about fishing. You're done.
Yeah.
Oh man. So you still got your big wall of swim baits, or are you slowly selling those?
I should be selling them. I need to sell. I need to sell lots of stuff. It's pretty ridiculous, all the stuff I have that sits around and doesn't get used. But I always say one of these days I'm going to pick up one of those bait casters and start slinging those things.
There you go.
And then I do for about 3 casts, and I don't get bit. And I go, these things are stupid. And I put it back down and pick up a wacky rig.
Yeah.
The wacky rig.
Hey, your collection could probably pay for college, right?
It probably could. Yeah,
That's funny.
I've got an addiction to buying tackle, and
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Don't we all?
I throw like 3 things. It's like I have all this junk with me. I should just take 2 rods and a pack of Cincos and a pack of hula grubs and call it a day. Maybe some underspins and Kitex too. But
There he goes. Spinner baits and a flipping rod. And
yeah, I've got all the.
bait.
You throw your hula grubs on a spinning rod too?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Yep. Hula grubs on a 1/2 ounce head on a spinner rod.
So what happens when you do 3/4 ounce head?
It just feels unnatural for me if I don't throw it on a bait caster.
I don't throw 3/4 ounce. That's too big. 1/2 ounce
too
is
big.
the most. 1/2 ounce is the most.
I'll just wait longer for it to get bottom.
Yep.
That's funny.
That's my theory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Right
I'm the most impatient guy in the world, but I could throw a tiny little Kitech out there and wait 5 minutes for it to hit the bottom in 25 feet of water.
I'll throw me a weightless wacky rig in 50 feet and let it hit the bottom.
That far, I'll probably go Necco instead of Wacky.
Oh, so you do carry nail weights.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You know, it's weird. I go through phases. Like when I very first started fishing, I threw nothing but a Texas rig fluke. That's all I threw. And then all of a sudden, I started drop shotting, and I threw nothing but a drop shot for forever. And then we went up to that Heroes on the Water tournament up in Shasta, and went into Phil's propeller, and the guy goes, "Oh, here, you need some of these heads and some of these hula grubs." And then after that, that's all I threw for probably 2 years. And then I started throwing a wacky rig, and that's all I threw for 2 years. And I just go through phases where I pick one bait, and that's going to be it.
And it's funny though, some years, like, I got on a really good hula grub bite a couple years ago. And then it's like, it's a jig bite now for me. And then they won't eat the hula grub. And it's like, dude, I don't get it, how it goes through phases like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I've gone through phases where I try to switch things up as much as I can, but I'm impatient. If I don't get bit within 10 minutes, I'm back to my underspin or my hula grub.
That's why,
or my wacky rig.
If you want to learn a new technique, and I forced my buddy to do it because he was like, dude, because I was cracking him on a jig up at Clear Lake years ago. He's like, man, I just don't have confidence in the jig. I said, dude, take nothing with you but a jig rod and a jig.
Yeah.
And he did, man. And now that dude's like a jig throwing fool. Like, that's all he, you know. So it's just.
Well, the funny thing is when me and Greg and Obedy went to Shasta on Thanksgiving, we went up there and I was throwing a hula grub around on the first day and I caught a bunch of fish. And they were like, "Oh yeah, jig bite this, jig bite that." Well, the next day I went out and I tied on one of those tiny little Kitech jigs with the trailer and tossed it out there and started catching fish. I was like, "Well, this is just a hula grub with it's the same thing."
Yeah, it is.
But it is pretty much.
But in Berryessa, I was throwing a full size jig. I was on a casting rod even.
Oh,
wow!
Damn.
Yeah, coming up in the world.
Were you throwing a flipping jig or was it a football head?
It was a pepper jig. It's a football jig, and it was probably bigger. I've had these things I've had these jigs for at least 5 years, if not longer. And I just never threw them, and I was like, well, it's springtime, and there's some orange in this one. It's called the Clear Lake Special is what it's called, made by Pepper Jigs. I've never even seen them, but Jimmy down in the Oaks has them. But my father-in-law bought out like a little tackle shop, and he ended up getting like 300 jigs for like nothing. And I snagged a couple of those just because they say Clear Lake Special on them. And I never threw them, but I had them forever. And I just took them out of the package and had them in my jig box. Well, I never even take my jig box with me. But that day I was like, I want to throw this today and see what happens. And man, that worked pretty good.
Look at you go. See?
Yeah.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah. I'm trying my hardest to expand my fishing arsenal as much as I can.
Oh yeah. Oh, we always got to, right? New techniques come out, new things come out, or even old techniques start playing again.
But it's just so hard when I know that I could pick up an underspin or a Cinco and catch a fish in forecast to sit there and try something new. It's like,
and it's also, I think the big portion of that too is like you got to go to the lake where that whatever your technique you're trying to learn, where that bite's actually working.
Yeah.
Because you can't go throw a jig at Clear Lake if all they're eating is a minnow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're like, dude, this thing is stupid. I'm never gonna throw it again.
And
so
that's my problem is I don't have any backup techniques. So if I go somewhere and I can't catch them on underspin or a Cinco, which doesn't happen all that much, but if it happens, I blank. I mean, I got there's nothing I can do. So that's why I'm trying to at least get a little bit of confidence in something else to where I can at least attempt to catch a fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Right on, man. Well, congrats, dude. And
congratulations, man.
That's
amazing,
awesome,
Justin.
dude. The first win. That's cool to see. I love seeing you guys get the first ones.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Oh yeah. All right, you guys. That's it for us this week. We will. You got your housekeeping stuff, Shane. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I was just going to throw out on May 3rd, Headwaters is having a kayak get together and swap. So starts at 10 a.m. up at Reading. So I'm going to head up there and hang out for the day. But
May 3rd. I may or may not. I got to work.
Saturday, May 3rd. So
you're not coming to Clear Lake, huh?
No, I don't have a team.
Yeah.
You don't have a
my team decided to fish out of a boat this year.
Oh,
what a jerk!
Yeah, exactly.
That guy should be slapped.
Living in a glitter rocket.
Yeah.
Hey, James.
Hey, John.
So, Justin, listen to this, James.
Okay.
How much did it cost you to get in the tournament at Berryessa?
Oh, all in, it was what, like 185? Something like that? Yeah, 185.
And then how much did you win?
3,830.
And how much gas did you put in your vessel?
0.
I don't care.
Look at that.
And I didn't get 8 miles of the gallon towing my kayak up there either.
I don't get 8 miles a gallon towing my boat. I get about 15.
Oh, so you won $4,000 and it cost you $190 to get in it, $2,000. So $3,800 you cleared.
Yeah,
and you put 0 gas in it.
Yeah, all in, I was under $250 even with gas to get there. Yeah, that was a pretty good.
But you know what? Can you do 70 miles an hour on the water?
No, I can't.
No, exactly.
And I can't fish the north end and the south end in the same day without a big hassle.
Yeah. Hey, I'm having fun with the boat, all right? I'm not out of the kayak game forever, guys. I will be back in it. I may or may not fish 1 or 2 this year. I'm kind of eyeballing one right now that I'm debating whether I'm going to do it or not. I think it would be fun. It's in May. It's a lovely place called Almanor. I just gotta see if I can make it work. I left that one. I left that one on the schedule on purpose.
Show up.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. Trinity and Almador is the two places you want to go.
Well, unfortunately, I won't be able to fish Trinity because I don't think I'm gonna be able to make. That's what the other thing, dude. I wonder if they're gonna allow kayaks in the Afterbay because the Afterbay just closed down now.
Yeah, I heard that just shut down again.
Yep.
Or now.
And Folsom's allowing kayaks on the water, but they can't be on a trailer. They won't even let you in the park if you have it on a trailer right now. It's got to be
Really?
back here. Yep.
Yeah, we went to Maloney's Friday, and they just said, "Don't put your trailer in the water." All right.
Oh, really?
I stopped just short of the water and just padlocked it.
That's why I was talking to a buddy of mine. I was like, I wonder if I can do that because I don't have a cart or wheels for it. You know, at least you can get it close enough. And they're saying that if you show up to Folsom with a trailer right now, they're turning you away.
You know, what's gonna be funny is we all got these motors for our kayaks, and you watch pretty soon these tournaments. It's all gonna be self-propel. You're gonna either have to use the pedal or paddle, and that's it. Watch.
Well, they're still allowing the motorized kayaks on.
Justin, were they allowing motors on Maloney's?
Yeah, they didn't even stop us. We pulled up there and they just waved us through. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the guy came running down the ramp and says, "Oh, don't get your trailer in the water." I was like, okay. So me and Greg just lifted off the trailer and put it in the water.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Hey, Shane, if everybody had a pedal all the time, and if you get caught pedaling around the lake, you'll get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
You know why?
Pull it?
No, you're pedaling your ass around the lake, so you're going to get arrested.
Nope. Yeah, no pedaling ass.
Oh
boy, John.
I'm so full of those. I got them. I got a bunch of them.
You're full of something, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of them.
All right, you guys. Don't forget Headwaters May 3rd. If you want to do a kayak swap, go see Shane.
Yeah.
Rogan's
Kayak gear, whatever. Bring it up.
And then First Gen Fishing, Anglers RX 10, each 10% off.
Bioinner Power is 10, TEN, capital letters.
Gets 10% off. So don't forget about those guys. And P-Line obviously. But
are they still doing the buy one get one free?
I saw somewhere they were. I don't know.
I think they're doing it are they doing it to the end of the month? Because they need to get on.
I think it's till the end of the month.
Yeah, I better order some.
On the tactical.
Yeah. Gamma's my favorite, but I can't afford it.
It's so expensive.
It is so expensive. Tactical is good. It is good.
Yeah. I was throwing 6-pound tactical up at Clear Lake, catching 6 and 7s all winter, and then I had some catfish break me off, and it pissed me off. There's some big cats though, so I put on 8. And I pulled some giant cats on 8 this winter too, but plenty of fish on it, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, tactical's a good line. I just got turned on to Gamma, but man, you can't afford that stuff.
Yeah. Yep. All right, you guys. Thanks